John?
Right. Thank you. Thank you, Senator Brzezinski, and I'd like to thank Senator Linthicum for inviting me. I'm giving my background. I'm president of the Crime Prevention Research Center. I've been senior advisor for research and statistics in the U.S. Department of Justice and formerly chief economist for the U.S. Sentencing Commission. I've had research and teaching positions at Yale, Stanford, University of Chicago, and the Wharton Business School. There's no serious cost-benefit analysis that I've seen of this law. My concern is that the net effect is going to actually be to harm people. If my research convinces me of anything, the people who benefit the most from owning guns are the most vulnerable people in our society. They tend to be the people who are most likely victims of violent crime. That overwhelmingly tends to be poor blacks who live in high crime urban areas and people who are relatively weaker physically, women and the elderly. The costs of the permits here, $150, but that's only going to be part of the cost. Looking at other states that have concealed carry permit training requirements, my guess is the cost will be $200 or more for the training. So you're talking about $350 or more to get the permit to own a gun. If you add it with the recent increases in concealed carry permits that you had last year, you're talking about near $500 for somebody to be able to get a gun and be able to go and carry it. Who do you think you're stopping? You're not stopping wealthy whites who may live in the suburbs. You're going to be stopping the very people who need them the most for protection, poor blacks who live in high crime urban areas. Talk about the delay that's here, 60 days. That's only part of the delay. You have to go through the process to go and get the training. If you look at other states, you're going to be talking about 30 days, maybe 60 days from when you sign up before when you're going to be able to get the training. That means the total delay plus the 72 hours that was mentioned, you may be talking about 4 or 5 months before somebody's able to get it. If a woman's being stalked or threatened, she's going to have to wait that long before she's going to be able to go and defend herself. You have the registration system here. We have states that have had licensing and registration for decades, and they cannot point to one single crime that's been solved, but it's cost them tens of millions of dollars. In Hawaii, Honolulu alone estimates that they spend 50,000 hours worth of police time each year in going and running their licensing and registration process. New York and Maryland, New York spent $40 million over 15 years running their licensing, registration, ballistic fingerprinting. That was $40 million that didn't solve any crimes. New York got rid of it because they couldn't point to one single crime that the licensing and registration had been able to solve.
Mr. Lott, I need you to wrap up, and of course you can always supplement with written
No, but you're not allowing any questions or anything here, and you wouldn't let me. Okay, fine. But the bottom line, there are other things. There's constitutional challenges that could be here that I'd be happy to go into that haven't been talked about. But the people who are going to be harmed are the most vulnerable people in your society.
Thank you. Mr. Powers?
Thank you, first of all, Senator Brzezinski. If I may I give my 2 minutes to John?
May
He
not.
came a long way for this.
You may not.
May not. Okay.